amongst the very young at heart.
I have not started feeling old yet, even at 90. And I've just joined the 90 Club. Haven't been there long.
I was the advertising model for Gala wine. They came up with a new type of wine called Galawette, and I was the Galawette girl.
Almost 93 years old, and I am teaching myself a Mozart sonata, memorizing. I taught myself the sonata, I just am in the process of memorizing it.
When I reach 100, the first thing I want to do is to run the mile and set a record.
Such a special piece, and I loved the entire documentary and how it was completely not what I thought based off just the title. At first I thought it was just going to be some nostalgic thing for kids in the 90s and like how they grew up in technology and all that, but instead we get a group of people who have lived to be 90, and it was just so inspiring and interesting to hear all of their stories and all of their experiences with their lives throughout the decades. And it's kind of crazy just hearing about everything that they've gone through, going through the war, the Great Depression, their careers, how discrimination has changed over time. And it was just so fun to listen to all this, I guess fun and sad, and it was just a roller coaster of emotions really to hear every single person's story and everything that they've experienced, because it's such a precious age at that time. They've lived through so much and have seen so much change happen, and for them to be able to articulate everything and to have memories of that, and it was just so great to kind of hear everyone talk about that. And yeah, I just wish more people got to have a chance to like talk to their grandparents and really understand where they've come from, where they've gone, and kind of take their stories and take them forward with them. And yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't get to experience or to have a chance to talk to anyone who's lived to be 90. And it's, again, they just got a treasure chest of stories, and this is just one of the few ways that we get to experience all that. So really it is a thank you to the creators who thought of doing this and to capture everything on camera to bring into the future. So yeah, it was just a really great documentary. It was just one of those ones where you kind of just want to sit there and listen to them talk forever. So great job overall.
It was a great documentary. After I got over the shock of the fact that Dick Van Dyke was in it, I think it was really great. I think in society as a whole, the elderly and like senior communities kind of get passed up without looking at all of the knowledge and the wisdom that they have from experiencing so many different things, like life lessons, history. There were Holocaust survivors, people who, fought in wars, dealt with discrimination, but also just like had great life advice of like how you get through love and loss and all of it. I think you did a great job of gathering all these different perspectives and really just paid tribute to all of the individuals in this documentary and their lives and the stories that they have to tell. It was just, it was a beautiful piece, and I really, really enjoyed watching it.
I love this movie. I love it so much. There's so much to talk about. I love the categories. I love the categories of questions that were being asked of these people. I love first that you chose these people. These people are amazing. I mean, the Holocaust survivor, the Cuban woman, Dick Van Dyke, come on, genius. The drag queen, the photographer, the woman who swam, I call her the mermaid in my head. Martin Luther King Jr.'s first attorney. I mean, just incredible people from all walks of life. It's just it's an incredible array. And just talking about advice and food and diet and sex and happiness and loss and death and just the best times of their life. Just incredible things. It was beautifully filmed. The questions were right on point. I loved the photographs. I loved the history lesson so much history. I just loved this movie. It's really heartwarming and beautiful and respectful and honoring. It honors these people and those people in the club, the 90s club. I love this movie. Congratulations. It's beautifully done.
What a delightful and inspiring documentary. I really enjoyed hearing from all of the individuals interviewed here, especially Fred. He was my favorite. Like, to hear about his life and his goals that he had as a lawyer and everything he achieved was so awesome. Everyone had their own unique stories, and I was just in awe of how much life that they lived. I loved hearing their takes on work and love and their advice. I thought the documentary was put together really well. The introduction was fantastic, the way they moved through all those different eras. Like, I think it's really easy to take for granted how long 90 years really is until you see it laid out decade by decade with highlights of these historical events in each one. And it was really interesting, for example, listening to the section on war, considering current events now. Overall, I thought this was just a great documentary. I really appreciated each and every one of their stories.
It was a really great documentary. I love hearing their perspectives from when they were children, and kind of the historic events that they lived through, to their experiences with everyday things like having a family and falling in love. And it was just so cool to hear this perspective across the time periods and have it in context, and just to see that they still consider themselves young. It was really inspiring, really, really great, and I enjoyed it. It was wonderful. A really great documentary.
It was a beautiful film. It felt personal to me because my grandfather is 91 at the moment, but I was surprised by a lot of the perspectives that were shared in this film. They feel very different than when he and I speak. I think that the group of individuals who were interviewed for this film are diverse in a lot of ways and represent many different perspectives, but it's interesting to hear the similarities in their perspectives as well, and how I think a lot of the value in this film for me came from listening to them talk about collective events or something like sex or love that everyone does experience in their life, and how it changed or touched each of them differently. And I think that I was especially surprised, given their reactions to World War II or the Great Depression, for example, to hear them speak about the pandemic and their commentary on what's going on in the world now. I think has a lot of value and is something that their perspective is something that really could benefit all of us to hear individuals and listen more to individuals of that age. And I think that what was also really beautiful about this film was just how wonderfully vibrant each of these people are at their age and in their lives in general.
It was an excellent film. It was basically just these 12 individuals who are all nonagenarians, I believe is the term. I might be wrong. All in their 90s. Extraordinary. I'm a big fan of old people myself. I don't mind getting old, so it was fascinating. And, they had some serious, people that we all know, Dick Van Dyke and Fred Gray, I think is the lawyer. But a lot of interesting characters. And they just go through phases of life and they talk about this stuff. I felt the movie lagged a little bit around the hour mark. It could have made this shorter film. But it was fascinating. It was just, extraordinary to see what these people have seen. And then also to see the themes of, what is it about these people that are similar and what about them are different. I found that all their lives were vastly different, but they all seemed to love life. They all seem to be very tough. They all seem to be survivors, and they all seem to, adapt and live in the moment, not get too set in their ways. Pretty extraordinary. Very cool. Lots of young people should see this.